For those of you who are familiar with Dr. Baskaran Pillai, he's the founder of Phonemic Intelligence. You may have heard him talk about this technology in seminar, in classes, in webinars. The basic principles of sound behind phonemic intelligence are something that he's really, really passionate about. If you haven't had the luxury of hearing him talk about it, let me just give you the basic definition of phonemic intelligence. So phonemic intelligence is a brain competency enrichment program that uses targeted phonemes to activate key areas of the brain for learning. Now, while I know that we all need this basic definition, I just want to elaborate on it a little bit. Phonemic intelligence is a very, very simple technology. It uses the smallest unit of sounds, which are phonemes. If you've never heard of a phoneme, it's a simple concept. Think of a sound like ah. So this building block of sound ah, you might pair with other basic sounds to create words. And once you put words together, you create sentences. And when we put sentences together, we start to build language. And so in this way, the phoneme is this basic smallest unit of sound. And that's really what the phonemic intelligence technology works with. I want to go into the philosophy of working with subtle sound at this level just a little bit because I think it's so important. I had the great privilege of sitting with Dr. Pillai a few weeks ago in a very casual setting, and we were talking about how to bring phonemic intelligence technology to you in a way that everyone can understand, even if you don't have a science background or science doesn't interest you, how you can understand how it works in the brain a little bit and why it's so important. So we're going to stop here for just a minute. I actually recorded what Dr. Pillai was relaying to me, and I thought there's no better way to share that message with you than to just let you hear it from directly from him. So let's listen to that now.
One might wonder how the use of a simple syllable or vowel like R, E, and I could influence one's intelligence, one's understanding, comprehension, memory, etc. The philosophy behind or the science behind it is very simple. When you go deeper into physical nature, you see that the more subtler levels you penetrate into, there you have the highest intelligence and the highest energy. For instance, the atoms are powerful than gross matter like molecule or compounds. You can go even beyond the atoms to subatomic particles, and they are even more powerful than an atom. So when you go deep into subtler realms, power increases, energy increases, and intelligence increases. That's why we are now into nuclear medicine. We are also going into the space, which vibrates at a higher level than our earth plane, in order to make our travel more comfortable. If you apply the same logic to our communication system through words, it exactly does the same thing. For instance, you use words which is comparable to molecular level in physics, the physical world. But if you use a syllable and not a word, it works like an atom. In other words, a word, or we can even start with a sentence, a word, and then just a syllable. The sentence is like an elemental reality, like a compound reality, which is in physics is not a powerful state. A word is a molecular, comparable to a molecular reality, which is more powerful than a compound. And a syllable is like an atomic reality, which is a lot more intelligent and a lot more powerful and energetic. Now you may ask, where is the proof? The proof came from our initial studies with the Brain Science International, where we found that the syllable or the vowel went and created a significant signature in the anterior cingulate, a part of the brain that is associated with intelligence, comprehension, and also social behavior, compassion, etc. And that study showed that it doesn't take too much time to create that signature in the brain. Even in seconds, you can activate that part of the brain that is associated with the higher intelligence, comprehension, and compassion. So, in order to have the highest intelligence, you don't need a sentence, you don't need big books. What you need is just a simple syllable, a vowel, that can go and activate the brain in a significant way. So that is the science behind using this syllable to enhance our brain functionalities.